Well, hello. Okay, so now we are going to be talking about important considerations when choosing a side job. For the purposes of this video, a side job is a second job, an independent contracting job. It's any kind of second stream of income. You could also apply this if you're a two-income family with two people working, and if you're trying to decide, or one person's working, trying to decide whether to add a second person or whether it makes more sense to have only one person work if two of you are currently working. These are just some things to consider when looking at whether or not it is wise to get a second job if the value that you gain from the money is commensurate with the cost and those kind of things based on your goals and whatever else. So, without any more introduction, important considerations when choosing a side job. Number one, do I have the right skills? You don't want to pretend, but you also don't want to hold back. Don't be afraid to go look for a job that may stretch you a little bit, but don't overstate what your abilities are. So if you're working to be an independent contractor on some kind of online platform, or you're applying for a second job like at a grocery store, don't tell them you're a meat cutter just because you've prepared dinner. Likewise, just because you've built something out in your garage does not necessarily mean that you have the skills and those kind of things to build houses. You might, but I'm saying you have to honestly evaluate and give real, live, quantifiable information to a potential employer about your skills. I see this much more on online hiring platforms. Of an example that I use often, because I used to be an independent contractor with them, is UpWork. And what you do there, it used to be called Elance, if you're familiar with that. It was for freelancers. So I would go on there and do like small writing jobs, small content editing. I am not a proofreader. I would go out and do research for people and summarize the content. So you have to be clear and honest with the skills that you have, and you have to have a reasonable understanding of what you can and can't do before you go looking for a second job. So that might seem obvious, but having hired a number of independent contractors and having worked in that space for about 15 years, I know that what's obvious is not always what's practiced. So I thought I would just say that real quick. Number two, do you want to work for an online platform? Like I said, Upwork, I do not have an affiliate relationship with them. I have both hired people and worked as a person being hired there. So I'm very familiar with it. And while there are some people on there that are scammers, the platform itself is legitimate and does what it can to weed through and provide excellent independent contractors and also excellent work opportunities. But do you want to be a 1099 kind of person? Or do you want to be a W-2 person? Because that will also impact what opportunities are open to you and what things you can and can't do, where you can and can't work, some of the laws you need to consider. So when trying to decide what it is that you want to do, want to apply for, and why you're doing it, and what your potential return is on that. Number three, tax breaks, liabilities, and other considerations. So if you are going to be self-employed as your second or side job, you need to find out the laws, the record keeping you need to do, what potentially you could write off, but also what it might cost you, the additional self-employment tax and things like that. You need to work that in to figuring out when you're trying to determine how much money you're actually going to net from the endeavor. Number four, you need to consider when looking at a second job or having two people work or deciding whether to stop working, those kind of things, whether you need scheduling flexibility or income predictability, because you don't often get both. With a normal second job, places like fast food and retail, some restaurants, although a little bit less so for the non-chain restaurants, will offer typically some kind of flexibility, or you can have flexibility in days, if not in hours. Whereas if you're working in an office, certain industries, if you're working in landscaping, it's based on time of year, weather. I live in the Great Lakes region, and so, we have like 10 weeks of actual summer, and then the rest of the time it's raining or snowing. So if you're a landscaper, you have to consider what are you going to be doing during the off season. I had one daughter who worked as a receptionist for a country club, and they laid off most of their staff from like December to like April or May each year. So you need to know when the peak times and down times are, what your hours will be that are available to you. And oh, and you also need to decide if you would prefer to have some kind of flexibility. Then you may have to trade off how much you make or things like that in order to get that. So, what do you need to trade to get what's going to work best for you and your goals? Number 5, your personality. Working from home, particularly, is extremely hard. So, if you're looking at doing that, you have to be very, very disciplined. You have to mentally separate yourself from being at home. Um, as you can see, I'm doing my videos. There is fish wallpaper behind me and a stuffed thing in the chair behind me. I'm in one of my daughter's old bedrooms. We got this phenomenal like 3D wallpaper when she was a baby. So even though she's in her 20s now, we're never going to take it down because I don't even know how to find it again. But anyway, your personality, can you focus? I come up into this room to focus on my videos because it's nobody's bedroom anymore. I know mentally I am fully focused on doing these videos. I have my notes, I have my table, I have my setup. When I am in other parts of the house, I'm not working on the videos. That's why you don't often see cooking videos from me anymore. I will try to make some more in the future with my recipes, but that's just not anything that I'm doing a whole bunch of right now because I mentally focus best here to work on the videos. You might have the personality that needs to be out of the house. Like back when my kids were little, sometimes I needed to leave the house so that I could be mom again when I was home. You know, when I left, I could be Tiffany for a while and then I would come back and I would be mom. Your personality may need that, or you may work best when you are at home in more comfortable clothes. Whatever the point is, you need to know what that is and be honest with yourself about that and work within those things. If you would like to work from home, but you don't do it well, then you should not work from home, even though that's your preference. You need to determine where you will be most effective, efficient, and get the best return on your investment. Because I spent a number of years working from home very poorly because I couldn't focus. And so I lost out on valuable time with my family that I deeply, deeply regret because my brain constantly was being tugged between work and home. However, when I started working outside of the home for a while, then when I was home, I was home. And I found that mental separation for me worked better. I was not honest with myself for a very long time about how I worked best. And because of that, I wasn't good at either thing. So keep that in mind. Your personality, what you should do and what you need to do. If you need to be able to, if you have to work from home, let's say the job is a telecommuting job, but you can't focus at home, you might want to consider going to a library or renting an office or doing something like that where you can actually physically separate yourself from your home. That's a consideration as well. Number 6, take time to look around and think. Don't just react. So as I've said in other videos, I have a degree. I graduated top of my class and have a lot of other little doodads and things. But fast food might be better for me because of flexibility and easy in and out. I don't need something working within my specific skill set or within my area. I just need like little temporary things. So it may be in my best interest if I need to make a set amount of money to just go to one of those kinds of jobs, earn the money I need for that goal, and then leave because it is a transient industry and they're not trying to get somebody who's going to spend 12 years working there. They need to fill a need. That could be a consideration. Now, I may well stay there for a very long time if I were to get a job there, if it worked well with my schedule and helped me meet my goals and needs. But my point is, are you trying to find a career? Are you trying to broaden your skills? Are you trying to make a set amount of money for a specific purpose? Are you trying to insulate yourself against the inflation right now? Knowing the reason you're doing it That's part of the consideration of getting a side job. And knowing the time period will also help guide your choices. And don't be too proud. Um, Money is money. And if you need money, it doesn't necessarily matter how much you're being paid, especially if you don't have children or other obligations. When I was younger, and now that I'm older and don't have kids at home, the flexibility is what I need more than the amount of money per se, because I do have certain things that I need to do. When the kids were younger, I needed to make as much as I could in as small a period of time as possible away, because I only had 1 day a week in which to work. So think about those kind of things. If there are other considerations you think I should have included and I didn't think of, please put them in the comments. Also, if there are topics you would like me to explore further, whether on this or something else, also put it there. Please like and subscribe to let people know about it. And share this video with people that you think could benefit. I will be talking more on some very detailed, specific, practical things, although I think these are quite practical as well. But in upcoming videos over the next 4 to 6 weeks, I will be doing a series on Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I realize this is backwards right now, but talking through how to prepare yourself in difficult times, using that as a foundation, and practical things on each level depending on where you are at in there to help you to get through the down economy right now. And not only do that, but to come out better on the other side, because that's what happened to us during the Great Recession about 12 years ago. And that's what I want for you. And that's the purpose of these videos. So go check out some of my other videos. Let me know what you'd like to see, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.